He is Ernie Johnson. How are you, EJ?
Rich, I'm doing great. How are you?
I'm hanging in there. Thank you. Really appreciate you calling in.
Yeah, how are things out there?
It's kind of crazy. I'm not going to lie to you. It's got a little bit of an apocalyptic feel to it.
Oh,
To be very honest, where you never know where things might turn. But it is just the latest example of how I started the show, of how incredible our first responders are, and how, when we need them, they're right there. And it helped me put my head on the pillow last night, to be very honest with you.
I can't believe what I'm seeing online and on the news, and and with people driving to work and seeing entire hillsides on fire and that kind of thing. Man alive, it's just horrible.
Yeah, I know. I told my kids, like, I had snow days when I was a kid. Now that they're on fire days today. It's
no
for real.
kid.
That's really what they're on. I wish they could go out and do a snow angel in snow instead of ash, but
no, it's horrible to see.
Look,
thoughts and prayers for all you guys out there.
Thanks,
That's
Ernie.
for sure.
I really appreciate that. I was talking about this on the show yesterday. It is funny how we're not wondering where LeBron's playing next year anymore, right? That's gone. Poof.
It's amazing what winds do, isn't it?
Right.
Yeah, I mean, and we'll probably have this conversation on the air tonight too, because I know that. Charles was talking about, Cleveland is not going to get better. They're just old and that kind of thing. And now they're just on a 13-game roll. But it's, you know how that works. If, you lose 2 or 3 in a row and suddenly it's, what's wrong? And is the team going to implode and that kind of thing? And then all of a sudden it's, okay, things are okay in Cleveland. Okay, next topic.
Right, and because it just is remarkable how well LeBron is playing at in his advancing years, I guess, and then IT comes back at some point.
You know what that's going to be like too, Rich? It's going to be like a trade dedeadline move.
Yeah, right.
It's going to be like you're going to add this huge piece where people said, "Boy, how did they get him at the trade deadline?" And it's going to be, well, he's healthy, and so what are we going to see from Cleveland when he gets out there? That's that's one of those things that it's a great addition once the team is already rolling.
Yeah,
so
I know.
See how that works.
And I know Harden again, who's on tonight on TNT, taking on the Jazz. He's in the MVP mix for sure.
Yeah.
But it's fun how right now it does look like it's shaping up about LeBron versus Kyrie, and also for the conference, how that's shaping up right now. It's fun.
I would say that too in the East right now. I mean, those are the two teams. Everybody else is pretty even. I mean, Toronto's in there, but everybody else, even Philadelphia, is playing well. We'll see them tonight against the Lakers, and we're going to see a bunch of good looking rookies tonight on TNT. And not to turn this into a promotion for our doubleheader, but when you look at Ben Simmons on the Philadelphia side, and you look at Kyle Kuzma, and obviously it's been a rough go for Lonzo, but the second game has got a guy that nobody's talking about, Donovan Mitchell for Utah, who's had an unbelievable rookie season so far. So, yeah, good stuff tonight.
Yeah, and Embiid is turning into one of my favorite players to watch, not just because of what he does on the court, but just I just love following his exploits. It really just like floating around with Joel Embiid on his Twitter feed, just seeing that picture of him next to the MVP himself from the Houston Astros. Just seeing him versus Jose Altuve, where he comes up to his knee next to J.J. Watt from the Sports Illustrated event the other night. That was I just love watching him just be. Ernie.
What it strikes me as a guy who's finally able to play after all the uncertainty, and people wonder, geez, is his career in jeopardy? Is he ever going to play? And he's just getting great joy out of the sport. It's almost like the first and second year of Yasiel Puig, where you loved the joy, and even his teammates were talking about the joy he gets out of playing the game. And to me, it's watching Embiid now is doing what he loves to do and just enjoying every minute of it, and really diving into the social aspect and everything else. No, he's been fun to watch, man, and he's got all the skills to match it.
Ernie Johnson here on the Rich Eisen Show. So walk me through a meeting with you guys, because I know what my meeting's like with Marshall and Michael Irvin and Kurt Warner and Mooch. Do you guys even have a meeting before a show, or you just like?
Yeah.
What you
speak of is very foreign to me, Rich, because we don't have that. I mean, and that's really the only show I've ever been on that is like that. Because everything else that you do, you have when we're doing baseball playoffs, there's breakfast meetings before we do the games, and Ronnie Darling is there with me, and with this group, it's not the way it is at all. I mean, I'm in the meeting with the producer and with all the technical guys and the stat guys and graphics and everything, but no, we don't. Shaq and Charles and Kenny aren't there, and it's not that they are invited. They've been invited years ago, and they made it abundantly clear that being at the studio 4 hours in advance is not going to work. And so we want to hit them. We want to hit them with stuff that is fresh to them.
Sure.
So that we're not, rehearsing segments or any of that kind of thing. And the guys keep up with the league enough that anything you can throw out, they're gonna have an opinion on. And so that's the way it works. But it's totally different from any other show out there. I think most of the time, all the talent is in there, but not here. And in fact, the first time we did March Madness with the guys at CBS, one of the CBS producers in the studio.
Oh, probably like, what is this?
Yeah, said, we're on the air. We're going to hit the air at 12:30. With our first pregame. We got 4 networks. Who are going to be working on this, and so we'll meet at 11 o'clock. And Charles is like, oh, what? Meet at 11 o'clock? No, that's not going to happen. But he has relented to it to enough that a half hour or 45 minutes before we go on the air, we are actually all together at a March Madness meeting, but that's the only time.
I was about to say, when you go to another network and partner up like that, obviously Thursday Night Football, I've been partnered up with various networks over the years, and then they sometimes see how we do it. It's a shock to the system sometimes.
No, that's exactly the way it was, and really that's one of the things about the marriage between CBS and Turner for March Madness that it has been kind of fun to watch, because I think we've incorporated elements of both styles of the way we like to do things and the way CBS has typically done things in the past, and they done such a great job with March Madness through the years that you don't want to really mess with that formula. But when we came in with this, with the 4 networks and the way our guys best operate, and that even translated into the shows where, they'd say, well, let's do this and this and this. And I said, well, I don't know if we're going to get all that, because when we go to this place, these guys may really run with that until we're out of time. So it's been a great thing to watch how they've, CBS has kind of said, yeah, okay, we understand how you do things and the success that you've had on the NBA side, so let's kind of incorporate the two.
Certainly if Charles just says, I'm not showing to a meeting.
Oh, yeah, he said, no, I'm not doing that. What's the next idea?
It sounds like sometimes Dion will just say, I'm not rehearsing. We're just not going to do that. That's
okay.
Just,
yeah.
And we're like, okay, that's it.
Yeah, whatever's going to make the show better. I mean, that's the way we've always viewed it, that, if we don't want our show to come off as, okay, this is the 4th time they've run through this, and Shaq's going to say this, and Kenny will laugh at this, and Charles will say this, and I'll throw it a break. It's let's just see what happens.
Well, I know that you don't want it to be there's no way it could be that way. It's just, and it's just so great to watch it and just give it an idea of how you make it look like it's all planned too. It's really just great. I mean, no, you do. You make it all work, Ernie. It doesn't work without you. It doesn't. And I have no problem. And I know you're kind of like that guy who I work with, that hasn't made the Hall of Fame yet. And I always say he's a future Hall of Famer, and they look at me like, don't say that. You're kind of like that guy when I tell you how great you are, that you remind me of those guys. Seriously,
well,
Ernie.
You're very kind, but let's move on.
Well, I guess we're done then. No, seriously. I'm looking forward to seeing tonight's double dip. I'll have it on along with the Falcons and Saints. It's going to be an interesting night there in Atlanta.
Yeah, that's
Ernie.
a huge game for the Falcons. And I think one of the last times I was on the show with you,
yep.
You were asking about the Patriots going undefeated, and I said no, 13-3. So I'm still at I'm in the ballpark right now, right?
Yeah, I mean,
what are they, 10-2?
They are 10-2. That means they got to lose one more. Maybe it's the Steelers. Could be that.
Could be. 13-3, and that was a prediction, a blind prediction, not looking at the schedule at all. Just kind of taking a wild guess and saying 13-3.
No,
it's working.
No, I'm sure you have. You and Musburger talk about how it all works out behind the scenes. I'm sure. on that front.
Are you going to watch my dogs when they go out there to the Rose Bowl?
I'm bringing the family. We're going. We're excited. That's going to be great, Ernie. Hey, look, I wish I could have seen you in person next time, and I always love having you on. Thanks for calling in.
I would love to do it, too. And have a great one, Rich. Always good talking to you.
Thanks. You got it. That's Ernie Johnson.
The Rich Eisen Show, weekdays at noon Eastern on Audience.